Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor here. I got an email today from a potential buyer, a question, and I thought I would address this specifically. I'll read you the email. And these kind of emails I get quite often. They're not the nicest ones, and I'll tell you how to address these. I'll read you it first, and we'll go from there. What is wrong with you people? Why don't you put the postcard, this is over a postcard, and I get this from Canada a lot, and from England. Why don't you put the postcard in an envelope and put a stamp on it and drop it in the mailbox? Question mark. US $10 to ship a postcard to Canada is worse than ridiculous. It's outrageous. Please let sanity prevail. We need to do much better. I await common sense to kick in. Thank you. He's trying to get me to put a standard postcard that I'm going to sell to him, an $8 item, $9 item, on in a regular correspondence envelope for the regular price of whatever postage is now, 43 cents or whatever postage is. That's actually against the law. I don't care what the gentleman says, or I hear this all the time. I get postcards sent all the time just with the regular stamp, or I get them to England all the time for $2. And first off, you're bypassing import-export laws by doing that. Whenever you put something in an envelope, a photo, a postcard, or whatever, and you send it out in a correspondence, you are violating the law if you send it out of this country because you're not following import-export laws. You're not declaring a purchased item going to another country. Now, I always explain that to them. I didn't hear a word back after I told them that I follow the law. I do what's right. Even if I didn't, there wasn't a law that said this. eBay says for me to want to keep my top-rated seller plus status to get my discount, I need to keep tracking on like 99 or 97% of items. So I don't fall into the trap where I start sending items out routinely without tracking. Every item I send out has tracking, or I don't send it. So in this case, which I've gotten some nastier ones, outrageous, $13.50 to ship a postcard to England when you can just throw it in an envelope. All the other people I get them from only charge me $2. I just address the fact that all those other people are violating the law. When these people know this, the people in Canada know that there's an import fee, and so do the people in England. If the item is over $20 and it's going to England or most of Europe, they're going to pay an import fee on that item. If you're changing the import fee or mailing it in a regular envelope or without, declaring it as merchandise, you're violating the law of that country and technically our country too. There's a law that says that all those items have to be declared. Correspondence is just for conversations back and forth. Now, I've had somebody in the past even argue with me over that. Well, the correspondence, this is a postcard, which is technically a correspondence. The postcard itself, if they buy it from you, is technically a correspondence, but it's merchandise because they bought it from you. So this can be a trap for you. You can get in trouble. You can have, criminal charges against you for violating the law. The chances of that happening are almost nil, but it is still a law. I follow all laws. These are all things that the government can check you on. They can see how you mailed it if you mailed it through eBay, tracking-wise. Or if, let's say, you're sending something to England and you're changing, a $100 item down to a $20 value to help the person out. I know it's a nice thing to do and you're trying to help somebody out, but the minute you do that, you are filing a false government form. And that's literally a violation of the law. It's in there. It's built into the system with eBay, so somebody could actually go back and track it and prove you did it. Eventually it might come to a point that has that. So you need to be careful on these kinds of things, sending items overseas. Some items you can't send to certain countries, like Germany. You can't send Nazi items to Germany. I don't mess with them anyway because you can't sell them on eBay in the first place. But some items you can still sell, like stamps and coins from the Nazi era, and photos and a few other things. But don't send certain items overseas. Even in this country, like I think Georgia, you can't send any Native American items anymore at all without proven paperwork of where they come from. I'm almost sure it's Georgia. And there's another state here, maybe it's Utah, that you can't send sterling or silver or gold to without having a special permit from that state. And I've run into a few vendors, there are other sellers that know this. Emails like this I do get fairly often, a couple a month at least, either from someone from Canada or from England. I always politely answer that, I don't violate the law. It's a stated law. If I don't file the correct forms, I'm violating export-import laws of your country and my country, and I don't wish to do that. And just say, you understand that Other people do it, but they're violating the law, and it's just not something you're willing to do. Your reputation, your business is on the line here, so take it that seriously. I know some people are willing to lower those, the estimated or the stated value on a form to get the sale because you want the money coming in. But in the long run, it lessens you because you're risking yourself in it. And if you're going to risk yourself in that way, you might do something without thinking about it and risk yourself in another way. Cover yourself on stuff like this. A reason I do this and make sure that I don't ship anything in correspondence on top of that is because I want that tracking, and I want to keep my top rated plus status. So we sell a high volume of stuff. So I know 1% may not sound like much to some people, but for us it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year when you do a 1% discount on your listing fees, on your final value fees. So anything I can do to keep everything going is what I do. I track everything. And I follow all the legal laws and shipping items. There's a book you can get. You can look online. Anything you can ship, you can look into. Like I see people mailing off aerosol cans without properly shipping those. They'll just throw them in a priority because it's cheaper. They won't take the extra step. Because we sell vintage spray paint and things like that. You can send those as long as you follow and mark them properly on the outside of the box, and as long as they're sealed properly. Those are legally items that you can legally mail, but you have to do it properly. And I've researched it. I've seen how you got a triple bag and all the other stuff that you would have to do it, and make sure it goes land transport only and the whole works. There's stuff you write on the box, where you write it, how you write it. Just research it. Make sure you're following the procedures for everything that you ship. This is, shipping errors and shipping mistakes and things like that can really be a hazard. And the ones who do ship hazardous materials without even thinking about it, a plane went down in Florida when we lived in Florida because of aerosol cans in the cargo hold getting too hot and exploding. Things like that. One little can's enough to blow a little hole in something and cause an issue. So don't take any chances. You're done if anything happens. Or if you're sending something like that and it leaks into something and you didn't properly wrap it or protect it or mark it as that, you could be liable for other people's mail on top of it. So, this is just some things to think about. Don't fall for the trap on shipping overseas. Just in an envelope. I know a lot of people do it. Probably I'm one of the 5 or 10% that don't do that. I just don't do it. And same long lines with using priority mail, bubble wrap things to protect items, for free, just using them as like cushion. I hate when I see that come in. It's just a few no-nos and things that can help you out a little bit here. The overseas shipping can be a major issue for those of you that are new. Just keep that in mind. Always quote the correct price for what it costs the item. Never ever underestimate the charge. Under 20 bucks they don't pay for if it's going to England or Canada, so if it's over 20 bucks they're going to have to pay the import fees no matter what. Don't alter any of those forms. You're altering something that's a federal document. Just don't do it. And ship them in the proper things. Ship them first class international. If it's going to Canada, I know it's 10 bucks, but that's just the breaks. And ship them first class international to all of Europe if you're shipping to Europe and England, France, Germany. It's like $13.50 to ship. Most people, if they're legit and aren't trying to avoid paying extra fees, which are legally required to be paid, aren't going to complain or ask you to do something. And most people buying off eBay understand that if it's over 20 bucks, they're going to have to pay it. So when they ask you to lower it for any other reason, they know they're trying to get away from paying the import fees. So hopefully you learned at least something. Hopefully you can take away from this email a little something. But please hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and tell a friend.